kids, welcome back to Uncle Fezzi's Land of Limited Liability. Well, I have this engine crane here, and I bought it a couple years ago to move a truck bed and work on it. Well, that project never actually came to fruition. I did move a truck bed with it, and I've moved truck beds with these things for years. And one of the number one problems with this Harbor Freight engine crane is that while it is rated for 1 ton, it's only rated for 1 ton right here. Now, I'm not lifting 2,000 pounds. Not in a million years. If I'm lifting something that's 2,000 pounds, I'm doing it with a machine, and I'm paying somebody to do it. But I'm getting old and fat, and quite frankly, the heaviest thing I can lift anymore is my dick. So, what's the biggest problem here? Well, quite frankly, the biggest problem is, and it's the story of my life, this rod's too short. So, when you extend this to its full extension, it only comes to here, okay? And what happens is, and has been happening with this thing since I bought it, is that the legs are too long for the length of this tube, which is the lifting tube. Well, this is the lifting part, but this is the tube extension. So what are we gonna do? Well, every man's dream. I'm gonna extend my rod. Not shorten my legs, extend my rod. So we're going to throw this one away. And we're going to put this one in. Now I understand that this rod is a little bit thinner than the other one. But the ladies tell me that thickness isn't the problem, it's the length. So, turn it this way. I very carefully mark these holes here. Oh, I should mention or add that this is a 2-inch heavy wall, 2-inch, 1/4-inch heavy wall tubing. This tubing is actually substantially stronger than it's lifting. This is never going to bend. If this thing bends, this goes back to my original statement, which is I'm lifting something heavier than I should. So, what I'd like to do and what I'm going to do is, now you can see, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, that my rod has extended beyond the length of my legs. Why is this important? Well, I gotta fix my fucking lawnmower because I never maintain my lawn equipment. And my transmission belt flew off. I have to lift the machine up to change the belt. The tires, the back tires, are the same width apart as these goddamn legs. So, and with the short rod, I can't get the engine crane behind the tractor and lift it up in a safe manner. The other thing is I have the shuffleboard project coming up. So this is a 2-part project here. Fix my shitbox lawnmower and set the shuffleboard. Now I'm going to move the camera in a second and show you what the plan is for the shuffleboard lifting device. The shuffleboard is 20 feet long, 3 inches thick, and 20 inches wide. It weighs about 500 pounds. According to the drunks that lifted up the first time, it weighs 1,000 pounds. I don't believe that. And I need to be able to lift that board in a safe manner and controlled. If there's one thing that you can't control, it's 8 drunks. So I'm going to build a leveling and lifting harness or device, for the sake of argument, lifting device for that shuffleboard. So the game plan here with this is I'm going to weld a stop at the end here because I don't feel like drilling too many holes. I'm going to drill holes, not a lot. I'm going to drill like 3 holes. There's more holes marked here than I'm going to drill that'll correspond with the same length of reach on the old one, and it'll just stick out the end. Okay? The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to drill a hole in this column here, and I'm going to fill this column full of sand. Why am I going to do that? Well, if you've ever swapped an engine, especially a big block or a diesel, out of a pickup truck, one of the things that you learn really quickly is no matter how short this rod is, the engine is heavier than what an engine crane can lift. So it takes 3 guys to take the engine out when it really should only take 1. You have 2 guys guiding the engine, and the fattest guy in the shop is standing on the back of this crane because the crane wants to tip over. It's basic physics and geometry, kids. It's something that people haven't been taught until you drop a big block down inside somebody's Camaro and fuck up the firewall. So that's the short of the video. Let me show you what the plan is for the lifting eye. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lop the end off of this and then rotate the tubing this way so I can run a strap or a chain through the tubing instead of having hooks in other holes. I don't want a whole lot of holes in this thing. Now the game plan for my lifting sling is relatively simple. Again, I'm going to cut the ends off of this and flip it this way. Actually, I'm going to flip the ends. This is the top. I'm going to cut this off and turn the tubing so there's a hole created by the tubing on either end. I'm going to do that with my welder. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weld tabs. I'm going to weld tabs. I'm going to bust out my welder. I'm going to weld tabs to the top of this and use my engine crane leveler, my engine leveler. If you've ever used one of these, if you've never used one of these to take an engine out of a car, this is vital to lifting an engine out of a car. If you don't have one of these and you swap in engines, spend the $100 or $50. I forget. I bought this at Harbor Freight. So this is another one that says it's 2 tons. It's 2 tons in Chinese, which is about 500 pounds. But there'll be tab here, tab there, and then this will be attached. The chains aren't, and I'll bolt the chains to the tabs. And these have adjustments on them so you can lengthen them or shorten them. The vital part of this is this. Ooh, I swapped it around for putting it in the drawer. But this rolls to the left or the right, and gives you the control that you're going to need, that I'm going to need to get this board to properly level out and not slide over or fall or anything like that. And I can control the board a lot better. So that's it. I'm gonna save you all from all the cutting and fitting and cursing. I know you love the cursing of welding this thing together and cutting all the parts and stuff. That's it's unimportant. If you don't know how to weld, this isn't the video to watch because I'm a shitty welder. Okay, here we are 8 hours later. Well, actually 24 hours later. It took me a while to do this project, mainly because I actually did 2 projects. My main goal for this project was to extend this boom, and it worked. That didn't take all that long. Drilling those 3/4 inch holes through this was a bit of a pain in the ass, but I jigged it on my drill press, and it came out fine. All my holes line up. One thing that I do need to do is this is the original boom. One of the things I'm going to do when I'm done with this project is actually extend the boom out. The holes line up in the boom. They correspond to the new boom. So yeah, it worked great. The other thing I had to do, which I wasn't too crazy about, but whatever. I had to put a bolt through the end here. So this has a through hole for a strap, or it has the hook and chain, and then I put another one up here just because I had the welder out. The other thing I'm going to do possibly is put a hitch pin in the back here to act as a stop, but I don't really think I need it. I can put it in there anyway. It's pretty stable. I did not fill the base with sand yet because the sand I bought was wet, and trying to pour wet sand through a funnel it just doesn't happen. So let me real quick show the other part that I made that actually took a lot longer. Oh, and yeah, the whole reason I did this project was so I could lift this up without having to put it on ramps or futz around with it because these legs are too long. But it works perfectly. As you can see, you know, I'm good to go. I dropped this to this morning and it's leaking, but I don't know exactly where it's leaking. Oh, I know where it's leaking from. It's leaking from right there. Okay. So the number one part of this job was to build this, which is a load spreader. I had a couple screw ups. One is the bow shackles. The bow shackles that I bought to go in these holes don't actually fit this chain, which is around here somewhere, which came with this load leveler. So I just cut that chain and welded it on here. I am not lifting a fucking tank. I am not lifting granite blocks to build the fucking pyramids with. I'm lifting a 400-pound shuffleboard table. It's over engineering shit is just ridiculous anymore. I did put a hook in here. My experience with loads, especially light loads at low levels, I'm not. It's not going to be 200 feet in the fucking air. I'm not a rigger. Well, I'm not that kind of rigger. So, you know, if it drops a foot or two, you know, usually you can see this stuff start to fail. It's the joke. I've broken a lot of chains in my day, and none of them failed without warning. Every single one of them stretched before it broke. And all the stuff I'm using is cheap Harbor Freight, so it's definitely going to stretch long before it breaks. That's it. Thanks for watching. Buy my book. And I'm going to just do some videos of the other part of the shuffleboard project. Oh, my book's name is Love Letters. Buy it. You buy now. Tiki says you buy now. Oh, this is the belt that I have to replace. My transmission belt, which is in here, which runs off these pulleys. The only way to get to that belt is to raise the mower up in the position that it is, or lay underneath of it on ramps or something to access the belt. And you have to take everything off to get to it. It's the worst fucking idea ever. I don't understand why they just don't run a pump directly off the transmission, or directly off the shaft. That would make fucking sense. This right here is how you're supposed to change the oil in this. So there's I don't know if it'll show up on camera. There's the plug, the oil plug, and then this is some kind of fucky valve, and then you have to put a hose on it and drain it out. Well, this thing's been draining. It's been draining for like an hour now because the fucking oil comes out one drip at a time, and the only other way to do it is to pull the plug out and spill oil all over the goddamn place, all over the top of the motor pulley. Would it have been slightly more money to put a fucking tube on the side of the motor and put that a little bit closer to the edge? This is why I make these videos, because what the fuck is wrong with people? Now that I'm done fighting with the lawnmower, so this is what I built. Now the idea here is to sling the board off of this through here with lifting straps and D shackles, screw bow shackles. So I don't know how tall the ceiling is in the garage. I'm going to assume that it's less than 7, or I'm going to assume that it's at least 7 feet. Even if it's not, I can set this down
we can pick the board up, set it down on sawhorses temporarily, and choke this down so we can get a bigger, higher lift on it if we need to. But this works perfectly. I did have to shorten this handle so it wouldn't hit the chain. It's not really going to impact the. It doesn't impact the operation, at least not yet. But it gives you almost micro adjustments to get your load perfectly. Now these chains are different length. I did that on purpose because I wanted to see it. And you can see here how this is no longer, in a straight line. That is specifically did that on purpose to make sure that I had enough throw one way or the other. Now obviously I need to get it really close, but before I even pick it up I need to get it pretty close to straight and level, and it's probably going to take at least 1 or 2 lifts to get it so that it's not flopping around. The other thing is, and I hadn't taken this into consideration, is the chain doesn't want to cooperate. That's normal when you do stuff like this. I had a feeling that was going to happen. That's why they use slots like this as opposed to a bolt through the chain. But we're going to have at least 1 other or 2 other people there to help. But that's exactly what I wanted to build, and that's how we're going to lift that board, the shuffleboard. The parts themselves actually should be able to be moved by 2 people, I hope. I am making it pretty heavy, but I'm hoping that 2 people can just lift the board, lift the 3 sections. But this will need to be like that. This needs to be lifted like this for safety's sake. And I know me saying something about safety is completely out of character because safety's third. But I'm actually more worried about damaging the board than I am about hurting a person. People heal. Boards have to be fixed.